The celebrity. It started 1.5 years ago. At first as close friends, more as an emotional affair, and then suddenly it happened physically. It was the best thing that has ever happened to me. But I'm married, I have a child. Things later got so complicated at work, my husband find out. He has forgiven me, but things in our marriage are not as were previously. I can't forget this man, I see him every day. Also, his family found out, he is single by the way. They are very angry and forbidden him every contact with me. He keeps calling me, talking to me at work, says he loves me. When once I asked him, if I leave my husband would you be with me? He escaped the question without giving specific answer to it. He just keeps asking how things between you and your husband are. I can't understand this man. I would be grateful if someone tries to give me some advice, because I feel terrible. I don't know how to continue with my life. My comment, your soulmate coworker actually did answer you about having a real relationship with you. He doesn't have a wife or kid holding him back. If he really loved you, he would be openly pursuing you. Notice how even his family doesn't want him with you. Anyone who knows the full story will see that you are not a woman who a man should have a serious relationship with. Sure, your coworker is up for the free bonding, but he's not going to wife up a cheating woman with another man's kid. You really need to quit your job, go to NC with other man, block other man on everything. Admit that you've continued to talk with other man. Give him access to all of your devices. Do not delete any text, pics or videos. Provide your husband a complete timeline of the affair. I also strongly recommend that you read How to Help Your Spouse Heal from Your Affair. The reason you lost the love you have for your husband is because you replaced him in your heart and body with the other man. Like most women, you're only really able to love one man. As long as you hold a candle for other man, your husband and father of your child has no chance to are with you. OP responds, I have blocked this other man from all social network yesterday. He tried to call me, he is on a holiday right now, I ignored him. I read all your comments, they were very useful for me to make this decision. Everything that was written I have known it deeply in my heart, but it was difficult for me admit. I would ask for a support of all you not to be weak and forget the other man, without any regret to my decision. First, I think the best decision is to forget this man. I have a lot of questions in my mind about me and my husband. We are very different, I still don't know how we end up together. I am sociable person who likes to go out with friends, not to get me wrong I would prefer with my family and other friends' family. My husband has so little friends, never makes some arrangements with somebody, never go out with a friend. In the last years we have lost a lot of the contacts. I feel so bored and lonely in my marriage. My comment, what did you expect? It's not the same, it never will be. You are not the innocent, devoted, or loving wife he thought you were. The only thing that remains true from before is that you are the mother of his child. Wait, it is your husband's child, correct? Wait, what? You really need to take a long look in the mirror. You complain about your marriage not being the same as before, but then you make it clear that your marriage, husband, is not your plan A. Your marriage can't recover if it isn't planning. In fact, it can't recover if there is any kind of other plans. I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I am pretty sure this guy isn't a farmer. He doesn't want to buy a cow when he's getting the milk for free, words of love and praise. Why would you trade a husband that held you on a pedestal? You may not have seen it as things get lost in the shuffle of day-to-day life with a new child. But believe me, no man would forgive you if he didn't love you deeply and hold you on a pedestal. For a man that sees you as a cow. Story 2. The whole time. Let's get this one thing out of the way. Yes, I am divorced. Never thought I would say those words in all of my life. It doesn't seem real. I've been in this process now for the past 4 months. I didn't feel like keeping this hidden anymore. I don't want to act like I'm still married. Earlier this year as I was having a lot of difficulty dealing with my reality, but that's not the case for me now. As of today, both my ex-wife and I have signed our marital settlement agreement and it has been filed. We now wait for a judge to rule on our case and I will technically be a free man, but that's in the eyes of the law. I've been a good and faithful husband, BF for 20 plus years now, 5 dating and just 1 month shy of 15 years married. I've been divorced for a few months now as far as I am concerned and I'm looking forward to my new life. My ex-wife and I were able to do a non-contested divorce. I didn't want to say anything here that could possibly cause me problems during that process. She knows my screen name here. I have no idea if she still reads here or not to check up on me, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. I wanted to make sure that our case didn't go contested. I wanted to keep everything amicable. So, how did I get here? I'm going to keep things fairly vague. Again, I don't know if she still reads here to check up on me or not. We share custody of our small children. We need to be able to work together to raise them properly, and that's what I plan on doing. She hurt me severely, but I'm not going to say that she is an evil person. She just made some life decisions that I wish she didn't. My preference would be to never see her again as long as I live due to how badly she hurt me, but that isn't possible. So, I do what I must to keep peace between our two households and make sure that our children understand that Dad and Mom love them very much even though we are no longer all live together under the same roof. I dealt with a dead bedroom for well over a decade, and then it was fixed. Problem is, there was a lot of other underlying issues there that needed to be addressed. I wanted to address them, both my issues, mistakes in the relationship and hers. She did not. I wanted to go to MC so we could bring out all of our issues into the open over the 20+ years together. She did not. I've mentioned it many times before, she likes to rug sweep. I have gotten to the point in my life where rug sweeping problems is no longer going to work for me. I can't play that game or ignore the problems anymore. I convinced her to finally go to MC with me. 2 weeks prior to our first session, she decided that MC can't possibly work for us and it would be best for us to divorce. My heart was shattered into a million pieces. I spoke very glowingly of her on these forums along with expressing my concerns over our problems, mistakes I've made, mistakes she's made. Anyone that has engaged in discussions with me here would probably say the same of my posts if they looked at them objectively. I loved her more than anything. I would have done anything to make us work and to solve our problems, but I needed a team player. I can't do it alone. She decided she didn't even want to try. That is her decision. I can only accept it and move on. The worst part was the day she said she wanted a divorce. I told her that I was still in love with her and we shouldn't throw away 20+ years without trying to discuss our issues in MC. She said, "I don't think I've ever been in love. I don't even know what love is. I don't think I've ever been hit harder in my life by 2 sentences like what happened when I heard her say that." It took a while for that to sink in. A woman that wanted me to marry her. A woman that stayed with me for 20 years. A woman that was desperate to have children with me. Never loved me. It's not a good feeling to learn one day that someone married you under false pretenses, kept you in the dark for 20 years. I was an absolute wreck for the first month. I've made many sacrifices in my life to provide the life she wanted. This obviously was a massive mistake made by a younger version of me. A mistake I know I'll never repeat again. I just didn't know better in my 20s. I live in a city where I don't want to be. I moved here because she wanted to be close to her family. I bought the house that she wanted. I gave up my home where my family and best closest friends live to come here. I've done the best I can with my situation. I've made a few good friends here, but it's not the support structure that I would have back home. And now with my kids, I have to stay here. I can't leave them. So, I have to continue making the best of my situation. I always knew there was something wrong. Something that just didn't sit right with my relationship and marriage. I just couldn't put it all together in my head until I came here. I tried to fix it, but it was unfixable. In fact, we should have never gotten married. That was another massive mistake made by my younger self. Easily the biggest mistake of my life. Doesn't matter, it's in the past and now I move forward. Regardless, I do have my children from that relationship and they are the most wonderful thing that has ever happened to me. For the first time in a very, very long time, I feel like a massive weight has been lifted from my shoulders. Something that has been weighing me down for so many years. I was able to get a move on after about a month of sulking. I put together a plan and stuck to it. I had many bad days in between, but my new life starts in a matter of 4 days. I was able to buy a really nice house for my kids and me. It's a great neighborhood and I really love this house. I close on it on August 2nd. I'm taking a week off from work next week to move all of my stuff over. I've already shown it to my kids and they are pumped. They both quickly ran upstairs to choose their rooms. Seeing their smiling faces really helped pull me out of my sadness. We agreed to 50/50 joint custody of the kids and switch off every other week. Thankfully, I'll have my place in our custody arrangement all set up right before school starts so that things are as comfortable for them as possible. My new house is only 3 miles away from the old. Ex-wife kept the family house. That will keep at least something familiar for the kids. They'll stay in the same school. The anxiety and emotional roller coaster are finally coming to an end for me. By this time next week, I should have everything set up and I can sit and relax. I'll be taking some time to myself. I will start up some IC to recenter myself. In time, I will heal. I will eventually find a good woman somewhere in the world that meets my needs. I will never again have the kind of relationship that I had with my ex-wife. Well, I know how the rest of the world works now, and what I had in marriage was not normal and not good. I plan on enjoying myself for a change. Don't know when that will happen. 6 months, a year from now. Don't know. I'll go out when I'm ready. There are beautiful women that are starved out there. I hope so. I have a very high drive. I've only ever been with my ex-wife and we had a not good physical relationship for 17 years out of 20, to put it nicely. I'm trying to control myself. I'm not one to just give myself away so easily. I would prefer being with someone that cares about me and I care about her. Problem is, I've been mistreated in the bedroom for so many damn years that I'm kind of worried that the first offer I get for bonding is going to make me go nuts. I don't want to rack up a body count fast just because of what happened to me. As for her rewriting history, I have no idea. I can't tell when she is lying to me or not. I know she is physically attracted to me. That's it. She very well could have never loved me. I provided her everything she ever wanted. Maybe she feigned love to get it. Don't know. Why ex-wife, whether she meant to or not, gaslit me for many, many years. I had no idea what things were really like out there. I loved her very much, so I just took her word for it whenever she told me something. I know better now. I have much better knowledge now when I eventually start to date again. I didn't think our issues were that crazy either. I learned I was not allowed to rock the boat and discuss our problems openly. I didn't know about that rule until it was too late. I suffer from ADHD. It is easy to distract me. I believe that was used at times against me so that I wouldn't notice what was going on. Face-to-face confrontations is my preferred method of solving problems. I'm susceptible to manipulation pretty easily, unfortunately. My main concern moving forward is not having to live with someone where she makes all the rules at all times. I can't live like that. I won't be treated like that in my bedroom ever again. Like I said, whether she ever loved me or not, I know she was physically attracted to me. She decided when, where, how long, how often bonding would be. Always. I had no say. Ever. Even when her drive came back, she made all the rules. She needed to control everything. It seemed great at first until it hit me that I'm just going along with it because I have a very high drive. That's it. I had been starved for so long that anything seemed amazing, until I realized that it wasn't. Things are always quiet in my house. Remember, the name of the game is rug sweep. There is never any yelling or fighting in my house. I asked to discuss things. She declined. That really is the end of the story right there. I didn't yell. She didn't yell. I can't force her to speak, so when I was declined, it ended right there. We've been living in the same house for 4 months, she decided near the end of March. I'd say for the past 5 weeks we've said 5, maybe 6, sentences to each other. The only difference, and it is a big one for me, is to no longer see her in my home. I am very much an out of sight, out of mind kind of person. I have been muted for 18 straight years now. I was not allowed to be me, ever. I had to be extremely careful at all times. If I did anything wrong under her rules, that would be it. Bonding would be taken away indefinitely. Again, I don't know if she did this on purpose or not. I have no idea if she meant to punish me or not. I'd like to give her the benefit of the doubt that she wouldn't purposefully do something that cruel. I didn't know her, but she knew me very well. She was well aware that bonding in my relationship is number one. It will always be number one. It absolutely has to be there. No question. It is a necessity. Everything else in a relationship with me is an enhancement. Bonding is the foundation that everything else builds upon. Otherwise, it is just a pretty house of cards. I will never live like that again. I will always fully express myself exactly how I want to. Any future partners can take it or leave it. I don't want to sound like I am arrogant or shallow. Bonding just is a massive physical and emotional need of mine. I cannot feel loved or appreciated in a relationship without it. Period. It is that important. I've lived a very long time walking on eggshells. Raised voices might have been once every 7 to 8 years. If that. The first few weeks were very tough on me. I was reeling. The most I ever did was walk alongside of her begging for her to talk to me. She would say, "This conversation is over," and continue to walk, run away from me. I was losing the woman I've loved for 20 years. I felt like I was losing everything. I was extremely depressed. Still embarrassing as all hell to admit I did that, and I know better now, but yeah, that's about as exciting as it got when it came to us talking. I spent a good portion of my life doing things the right way, and my ex-wife took advantage of it. I know what to look for now to never run into her type ever again. They stick out like a sore thumb to me now. Anyways, rebound relationships. Sure, all bad. I get it. I've also only slept with one woman my entire life, and I was held back a lot. I'm presentable. I do well for myself. I don't know how long I need to relax by myself in my home. I will need some time. Some months for sure, but I would like to have some really nice bonding before I pass away. That's the plan at least. Will it be a rebound relationship? Don't know, but I'm not sure if that really is going to bother me much, to be honest. I've already noticed that my relationship got better with them instantly once the ex-wife wanted a divorce. Like I said, a massive weight was lifted from my shoulders that I no longer had to burden myself with, and I could focus on more important things. However, this area will be tough for me. My ex-wife's value system got increasingly radical as the years went on. It got more and more disturbing. This was really the only area where we would argue. She would teach the kids stuff that doesn't jive with me as if it was correct. I need to be more vigilant now. I won't see what they are being taught half the time, but I can't be forceful. I must listen to my children carefully. I need to continually introduce my value system to them and let them come to their own conclusions. They are pretty smart. I just want to make sure that everything has introduced them equally and let them figure out what they think is best. My children are young. They love both of us very much. I am glad that it is working out that way. I fear the day that they ask me what happened. I hate lying. I'm going to have to find an age-appropriate way to tell them what happened as they keep getting older, but I will tell them what happened when they are 18. I'm not looking to turn them against their mother. At the same time, I'm not about to allow the "oh, Daddy and I just drifted apart and fell out of love" BS story to happen. This goes into life lessons that I strongly believe that my children need to learn. Their mother made multiple decisions in her late teens and early 20s that I do not want my kids to repeat. My current situation is a testament to what can happen when people make terrible decisions early on in their lives and how those decisions can affect the people around you 20 years later. Regardless, my kids will be making their own life decisions. I do not want to stop them from doing that. It is just vital to me to give them the tools so that they can make informed decisions and hopefully not make the same mistakes. I've been starving for 18 years now. I will always give the ex the benefit of the doubt of our first 2 years. I will gladly accept any problems that come with a rebound relationship if it means I'm having mind-blowing bonding. I've waited quite some time in my life for it, and I've passed up multiple chances over the years because I just had to do things the right way and always stick to my principles. Yes, it's very much the way you said it. Do the things you're supposed to do. And I agree with you completely that keeping to your principles and rules definitely makes you predictable. Bad people can take advantage of it. I haven't decided exactly which direction I will go, and I'll just see what happens when I cross that bridge. But I'd like to say that I'll stick to my rules and principles and just be much more vigilant when watching the behavior of women I'll deal with in the future. An affair I've suspected, but I'll never know. She obviously swears on her life that she never did. He has done a lot of shady behavior over the years that comes straight out of the cheater's playbook. There are a few people here that know my full story. Without me saying a word, the first thing that came to their minds was she's cheating. I've done a ton of digging. Couldn't find anything, but then again, we are talking about trying to find something over the past 20 years. If she did ever cheat, I doubt it would have happened over the past 5 to 10 years. I mostly suspect during a time where it is impossible for me to find information. A year-long period between the time I graduated college, moved home, and started my career while she was still in college for 1 more year. This is the time that everything in our relationship changed and never went back to normal. I take full responsibility of my stupid decision to marry her after this year. I should have left, but I was a stupid kid. I was so sure that she will come back to me someday. Everything will go back to normal. Oh, the stupid things I used to tell myself. And I've learned recently that there are bonding positive women in their 40s and 50s. Again, I feel like an idiot for not knowing this. But my ex-wife told me that no women have slept with their husbands, and I stupidly believed her for a very long time. I know. Crazy concept there. Trusting your spouse. Yes, I've made a lot of dumb, naive mistakes in my life. So be it. It definitely will never happen again. Not sure if I'll ever remarry. I strongly believe I'll eventually trust again. Just meeting the people here and knowing what good people can really be like gives me hope. I really was in a fog for a very long time. I had no clue what other women were like. Not a clue. But I like to save money. I don't want to work forever. I want to do my own thing. I want to enjoy time with my children. If things went properly, my ex and I are headed into our prime money-making years. We really could have made an excellent, easygoing life together. Instead, she showed me her true colors and, well, everyone knows the typical stereotypical trope of what happens to men in divorce. Even though she has worked every day of her life since graduating college, it happened anyway. If I come to the conclusion that I'll never marry again, it will be due to the fact that I do not ever want to take another financial hit like this. In case things do go sour, I'll just say that I have things in place that would factually refute any story she would want to spin. She has explanations for said things, but they are exceptionally weak arguments. I don't think she would want to get into a reputation fight with me. Hers is extremely important to her. My preference, and I know her preference, is if we just keep things civil and don't talk about such things. It really doesn't matter to me why she wants 50-50 with the kids. I haven't even thought about it. All I care about is that I don't have any less than 50 over 50. If she wants free time to be by herself, date, whatever, I don't care. I really don't want to know anything about her life moving forward. I've already wasted more than enough my time being concerned with her over the last 20 years. I do look forward to my alone time. I am very introverted and my mind never stops moving. I have many hobbies. I'm always active outside or I'm tinkering something inside. I love my time with my kids and I love my alone time. My main concern right now is fixing myself. I cannot be in a place of hatred. I cannot hate the mother of my children, but that is the only thing I am working towards. I'm not going to apologize for that, and I'm not going to hear any arguments about do it for the children, and my ex-wife knows me well. She knows there is no way even a slight relationship above bare minimum civility will happen. She knows very well I won't be in family photos for graduation. I'll have my separate photos with my kids. There won't be any joint parties with my kids. I will have separate parties with my kids. There won't be any wedding photos when my kids get married. I will have separate photos with them and myself. I do not want to have any connection to her in any way anymore unless it is absolutely necessary. I have a lot more years to get the kids to 18 years old. On their birthday, that will be the last contact I ever have with her. I won't hate her. I don't want bad things to happen. I'll just be at a point where in my head, she is someone that I have never known and never met. The way it's been in our house now for 2 months. We walk by each other like the other person isn't there. I think that's great if it works for you to get to an amicable relationship with your STBX. Different people will see to their issues in different ways. I don't forgive and I don't forget. Forgiveness is something that someone asks from God. Some people will say that I need to forgive her for myself. I have no idea what that even means. Nah, that ain't me. I owe nothing to a taker. The only thing I'm concerned about is hatred. I don't want to waste my time hating her. I just want to get to the point where she no longer ever comes up in my mind. Sort of like she never existed. That is how I move on from people that have hurt me in my past, and it works out okay. This will just be a little more difficult due to her being the mother of my children. Finished up closing this morning. Got my judgment of dissolution this afternoon. Funny how that worked out. The house. I think I'm going to like this place. I've got idea for projects and whatnot to keep my mind occupied during my weeks I don't have my children. Still have a long ways to go this week to get everything moved over and unpacked. I want to have it all set up for when my kids get back from vacation this coming Saturday. I was hoping to get away with her never knowing my address. I couldn't do that, though. I needed her to sign a waiver and it put my address on the waiver. I stupidly didn't think of that. Oh, and the kids' school needed my address and we both have access to our kids' page on the school website. But yeah, I have already thought of that. I don't want her to step 1 foot on my property, let alone 1 foot in my house. If she ever needs to come over to my house for anything, she can park on the street. I can take the kids out to her. I will get to a point where I am 100% financially separated, hopefully in weeks, to where I can let on to more publicly.